Okay. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone.
Hello, Madam the
I'm
moderator.
really glad to be here with you. Hello, dear participants. Thank you for attending this West Africa West Africa virtual conference. We are here today with Robert. I'm going to introduce him to you. Robert Kenfack is a secondary teacher of English in French at Government Bilingual Practicing High School in Yaoundé, Cameroon, and a teacher trainer for student teacher on practicum. He is a former Fulbright scholar at the University of Massachusetts Lowell. He has facilitated virtual session on distance learning for organizations including the U.S. Embassy and British Council. He was guest moderator of Teachers Corner on the Facebook page of American English for Educator. Roberts believe that technology is a valuable resource with great potential impact in today's teaching and learning. He is going to talk about the use of Google Form, okay, evaluating learners with Google Form. So please guys, we need your active participation and attention, please. So Robert, the floor is yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Baro. I hope everyone can hear me. Can you hear me, Baro?
Yes.
Oh, thank you very much. So thank you for that wonderful introduction of my person. So I won't introduce myself again. So I would just like us to start this presentation that is on evaluating learners using Google Forms. It's something I started with when COVID-19 broke out, and I found it quite useful. I've been doing that with the learners, and I would like to share how it is done with you today. So I just would like you to type in the chat box, since we don't have enough time. What are some of the Google tools that you know? Have you ever used Google Forms? If yes, what for? And then you could also state your expectations for this session. So you might want to use your chat box so we don't waste time. I think while you're typing, we will progress. Baro, I think you can take down some of the things and then you will let us know later. So by the end of, we want to talk about the objectives of this session. By the end of this presentation, participants will be able to easily access Google Tools and Google Form. They should be used appropriately. Use Google Forms appropriately to make tests, administer them, and receive results and analyze them. So here is the session outline. We want to talk about the advantages of Google, how to access Google tools, some Google tools using Google Forms to evaluate learners, some advantages of testing with Google Form. So the advantages with Google tools is that they are actually like free. Google tools are free. Once you have internet, the documents are automatically saved. It's possible to work on a phone or a computer or tablet. File saving is done in the cloud, and it's easily downloadable. You can download your files to your devices. And also you can easily share your files with your friends, with your students, with your colleagues, any other person you want to. So let's talk about the access conditions to Google. You need to have a Google account. You also need to have access to internet, and you need obviously to have electricity because you will be using your computer, your tablet, or your desktop. So getting access to Google tools, you just need to type google.com in your browser, And then the next thing you do is you click on the search and you enter www.google.com, and then this is what appears once you've done that. You see this that appears with this waffle here, and you click on the waffle at the right hand corner. This is the waffle, and near the circle, this circle generally will show the initials of your name if at all you don't have your picture on Google. But if you have your picture there, then instead of having this circle here, you're going to see your picture, where your name, your picture. So so we want to talk theoretically how we set the test. Then practically we're going to try something. It's true we don't have much time, but we'll try something, and at the end we will have a reflection. So once you click on www.google.com and then you enter, as I said, you're going to see the waffle here with your the initials of your name or your picture. Then you're going to get to, you click on the waffle, and once you click there, you look for Google Forms, because all the tools will appear, and you look for Google Forms. Once you click on Google Form now, you see this first page that appears. This plus button is where you're going to click for on the blank form to be able to start preparing your test. Once you click on that blank form, you're going to see Untitled form. You can put the title of your test. Maybe it's English language test 1 or test 2. That depends on you. You title it, you might put any description, and then you start, you come and choose whether it's a multiple choice or a short paragraph, short essay or paragraph, or yeah, you choose the type of question there. Next thing to do, so this is how I indicated here the different element that you have, because you have where to select the question type, where to move to the next question, where to import other questions, where to add a title or a description to your question, where to add an image or a video, or where to move to the next section, or put it as a required question, or you can also delete the question, or you could copy it for the next one. And up here, you have where you can customize. Yes, you can preview or you can send. Next, you move to the settings, and it's always good to set your test or on Google Forms, and you click on the general settings, and this is what you're going to have. You click on presentation, and this is what show progress bar, shuffle the question, show link to submit another response, and the confirmation message. And that is on the settings, because settings has general presentation quizzes. And when you click now on quizzes, that is the most important part of Google Forms when you want to use it as a test, because you need to activate this area where you see make this a quiz. If you don't activate it, then it's not going to be a quiz where you can add points for your students to answer and get their results in numbers, like say 10 on 20 or that. So if you don't put any, if you don't activate this button, you won't be able to make it a test with marks. So then you continue the settings, and when you go to these three buttons here are all the things you can do. You can undo something you've done, you can get a link, you can print your test, you could even add a collaborator, and a collaborator could be a teacher with whom you're teaching the same class or the same level, for them to also be as the setters of your exam, and they will get in and they can modify, yes, if you want more settings. Then you can click on this other button here, which is the theme, and then you can add an image, or you add the colors or the background color and or the font style. So you can click on the these other three buttons here, as I said, and then here are the things you're going to get. You could add your colleague teacher as a collaborator to your test. So I think at this level, what I want to do is I'd like us to move to a Google page, Google form page proper, and there we are going to see how we can actually set our test. While waiting, while stop sharing the screen to move to the next phase of this, which is the practical one, I'd like you to type your questions in the chat box if at all you have, and I can take at least one before we continue. So you can help me do that, Beryl. Thank you. Yes, if you have any questions, you could type in the chat box and Baru will definitely read the question to me, and then I'll provide an answer to that. So if there are no questions, and I would like to share the screen again, and this time around, we want to see how we setting a test. So here we are on our Google form page, and we have the page as I showed you. Actually, I didn't want to start by typing www.google.com to get to this page. So when you type www.google.com, you connect to your Google page, and then you click on the waffle here, and then you're going to see the Google tools, and you select form. If you don't see form, you click on Google Docs, and then from Docs, you're going to get here, you will see Docs here, and then you see those three lines, the stripes. Then you click there, you're going to find form. And when you open form, this is how the first page looks like. So you click on this plus button to be able to set your question. Yes, it's opening. Yes, that's wonderful. So once you click there, you see Untitled form, and you can immediately come there on Untitled form and then change it into, for example, English test. English test 2, for example, or English test 1. Everything depends on you. And actually on Google, things are saved automatically, so you don't need to save after. Yes, that is English test 1. Yes. So, but you need to come to the settings here, and you're able to set your test. So, because if you don't do the settings well, it isn't going to make it a quiz. So make this a quiz excellent. So you make it a quiz by activating this area, and then responses. When do you want the results to be released? Immediately after each submission. That is what I generally accept from my learners. So once they submit, they get their result. Respondent can see miss questions, yes. Correct answers after the grades are released, yes. And the point value, yes. So you activate this so they can see, and then you move to responses. How the responses will be collected, you said, at the level of the presentation, how the form and the responses are presented. You can click there and then show progress bar. It's always important that your students know how far they've gone in the test. And shuffle question other, I like this. It helps you because your learners will not, even if they are working together, it's true they are working online, but they are together, the questions won't appear on their computers the same. So one can be on question 3 while the other one is still in question 2, or so the other is shuffled. So and then a confirmation message, you can type in something like, oh, thank you for answering the questions, or your test has been recorded, something like that, for your learners to know what is happening. So it's always good to come here at the level of settings, and then you do this, you make it a quiz for your learners to be able to see the points, and for you also to be able to put in the point and make your test a quiz. And then you come to questions, and you're here, you could set the first questions generally will be things like maybe your name, say name, class, all of those things that we know, the name, the class, the email address, and I can make it compulsory. Yes. Then at the level of settings, do not forget to set where the learners are actually going to put in their emails and receive emails immediately after. So once you do that, you come to add a question. Yes, you click add a question, and remember that once you click here, you already see the question is a multiple choice question. So you just add, for example, you could just see my, and then you put the dash, poll, for example, and then this is just a kind of example. And so it's a multiple choice question. You see how it is there, multiple choice, and you need to add answer key. You make it required, because if it is not required, your student may not answer, and it may they may submit without answering. So you make it required, and then you come to answer, and then you need to put the options. Option 1, for example, you need to, I haven't yet put the answers, so you put the options first. For example, the question was supposed to be my name, for example, my name. Yes, dash poll. So you could see my name you could see my name is, you could see my name were, yes, you could see my name aunt. Yes, so this is your first question, and you need to come and then click on answer key to be able to choose the right answer, which is my name is, not er. So you click there. Once you click there, you see it becomes green, and then you come up here and then you add the points. Yes, it's on 1, you add 1 there, and actually you can click answer feedback. You may want to give feedback to your students. Answer feedback for the incorrect question. You might want to say, try again later, for example. Try again later, that is the feedback, or try again later. And then for the correct answer, you may also want to put feedback there, and then you want to write like something like great job to encourage your learners. And then, yes, great job, and then you save. So and remember that after doing all of this, you need to come down and click done, and actually your question is set, and you do so for all the other questions. And so if you want, you can still change this question into it's multiple choice. You can click next, and if you want to add any other question, you can choose here. Short answer. Short answers are questions where the learners are supposed to complete the gaps by the word that is lacking. You can put paragraph. I use paragraph when my learners are going to write an essay, for example. You use check boxes too. You could even, your question could be on the date. So actually, here is where you choose the question types that you want to give to your learners. And you can also import questions from another exam that you've had with your learners, and then you click here. Or you want to add a title description to the question to help them, or you want to add a picture, or you want to add an audio. And once you've done with that, you can move to the next section of your test, and then you add another section. For example, once you click on these rectangles here to add a section, it's going to add another section, and then you see it's section 2 on 3. I've created 3, and then here you can write vocabulary. The other one was grammar, for example, and that is how it goes. Now, once you finish setting for reading, if you want to set reading, you need to already have a text somewhere. If it is not long, you can type it in here, but if it is long, you can always click on import photo. If you have snapped the photo of that, you import the photo, you put it here, and then you put the answers for your learners to select the best one. For listening, what I do is that I record my listening already, or I have it in my computer. I upload it to Google Drive, and then from Google Drive, I get a link. Then I just come and insert in the listening in the section, and my learners are able to get there and actually get the answers. So when you want to send your element to your students, you want to send your test to students, you come here, you click on send, and then you can send via email. Maybe your students do not have emails, there's no problem. You just come, you click on this link here, and you can copy the link. And if you have a WhatsApp group, yes, you copy the link, you go to a WhatsApp group and you insert the link there, and then your students get access to your test, and then they answer without any problem. I'd like to share a sample of the test I have had with my learners with you, so you can see how it looks like. For example, or let me see, this is a test I had in January.
7 minutes left.
Okay, yes, I know. Okay. So this is a test I had with my learners in January. Thank you for reminding me, Barrow. Thank you. So I had this test with my learners in January. You can see the test was on 80. And whenever your learners answer the test, once you open it, it's still loading, I think. Yeah. Good, good. Actually, you can see here that the questions are here, but you see the responses of my learners. 24 students were in this class and they answered. So you can click on the responses, and once you click on the responses, you have all the statistics of, they give you the statistics. You don't need to calculate the statistics again. When the administration is asking about the statistics, you can see everything, all the questions, all the students work there, and you can share it with them. As you can see, there were 24 responses, 24 answers, and you can see the names of the students. You can see the questions, how many questions, like for question number 3, 8 students on 24 had it wrong. 10 students, you can see the questions that were the most difficult. You can see the ones that were the easiest. So, and you can also share it with your colleagues and with your students without any problem. And that is how I generally work with Google Forms with my learners. So can you see my screen now?
No, Robert, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we cannot.
Some people cannot see the slide, Robert.
Oh, some people cannot see the slide. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
This slide, you can't share the result on the screen.
Oh, I can share the results from the screen. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, let me get back to my test. They can't see the slide. Yes, good. Okay, I'm sorry. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Good. Yes. So this is a test I had with my learners, as I was saying. So once you click on the responses, you can see that actually 24 people answered the test, and you can see the results here. The statistics are here for you, and you can see if you want the student not to continue answering, you can click on this blue and it will stop and taking answers from your students. So I was like, questions after questions. For question number 2, only one person failed. Question number 3, 3 people fail. Question number 4, 9 people. You can see how many people fail question, how many people had the right answers. You can have the scores. You see, I just have my scores immediately. For example, here, this student had 63 on 80, 53, 54, 50, 38, 58. All the answers are there, all the results are there, and then you don't need to manually calculate or write anything again. And then you have the names of your students, everything appear to you. You have all the statistics and everything with you. So it's everything appears to you like this, and you can see all the scripts of your learners with the statistics. That's what I was about sharing with you. I think you've seen this, and it's easy. You can send the result individually to students, and they too receive them immediately depending on the setting that you did. And you no longer calculate the statistics as we used to do in our classes when the principal or the VPs or the administration, any member of the administration is asking you about the result or the statistics. I would like to go back to my slide just to give you some benefit of working using Google Forms. And after that, if you have some questions, you could ask them, and we will conclude the presentation. I hope, Baro, that you will permit me to that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so when you evaluate with Google Forms, you don't use paper any longer, which is good. You protect the environment. Teachers in my community used to carry a lot of big bags because they have students work script inside. No, in that case, you're working only either with your phone or with your laptop. It's economical because you're not photocopying anything, and then you don't have conflict with principals and students, because some principal will say, oh, this test, I don't want 4 pages, I want only 1 because multiplying will be difficult for me. No more waste of time for marking, no nerves issues because you're marking the test all the times, and we know we have hundreds of students. You have no more script miss because some people had a lot of scripts and they missed some, and when they're marking, some people could pass and then they have stains on paper, nothing like that. And it's easy to read, it's readable. So nothing like I couldn't see what the student wrote here or wrote there. Yes. So that is how it becomes very easy for you. And I think the next thing is that no stress calculating statistics. You have rapid publication of results. You have reduction of cheating in the class. You have easy and fast, efficient carrying out of test correction in class and remediations because you have your statistics ready. It is easy to share with colleagues and others. It's also easy to keep and conserve without taking down marks. So I think this is where I'm coming to the end of this presentation, Baro, but it's with this question: can you use Google Forms in your context? Why not, and how?
Okay, thank you very much, Robert, for this brilliant presentation, which is very important nowadays. Google Form is a great tool, easy to use and very practical. There are some questions in the chat box. Are you ready to answer them, Robert? So the first question is,
yes, I am.
I think we can set the first question as if they can get the PowerPoint. And I answered that this is recorded and it will be shared after. And the other question is, what's the difference between Google Form and survey form? Survey.
Oh, yes. Google Form is also a survey form. You can use it for a survey, for questionnaires as survey, but they are different tools. The only thing is with survey, you can actually have points. Like with Google, you can make a test with a survey and have points, like you do it with Google Forms, adding points, and you have the results with marks at the end. Thank you.
Yes, okay. The other question is, can you set a time limit on a test? if you can set a time limit on a text.
Oh, actually, I haven't yet tried setting a time limit, but what I do with my students is that I tell them, you see, you activate the test and you can always deactivate the responses. So I'll tell my students that you click on the link at this particular time, and after that time, you won't be able to access the form again. So at the end of that period of time you've given the students, you just simply deactivate the form and they can't have access to the test again. That's my way of setting time there. Thank you.
Okay, Robert, that's wonderful. Clear answers. Thank you so much for setting everything clear and for your brilliant presentation. Thank you, West Africa participant to this webinar, to this session. So Virginia, you have the floor back. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you both. That was excellent. Thank you, Robert, for a very engaging and interesting presentation that I think is very practical. And there were some questions coming in from Facebook Live as well. We are into the break time, but I don't know, Robert, if you would have another minute or two to answer those.
Sure. I'm ready to answer them.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. There was one question. How do you evaluate the speaking skill using Google Forms?
Oh, actually, what I do with the speaking skills is that I would ask my learners, the learners need to be to know ICTs well. So when you set in the question, they have to record their answers. When they record them, they put them in their computers or in their phones. Then they upload, as I do with the listening, to their Google Drive. And then from the drive, what they do is just that the answer is going to be a link. And when I click on that link, I'm going to have the audios. Remember that with the paragraph questions and then with the audios, paragraph meaning essays, and then the speaking, I will be the one to evaluate and score, because Google cannot score that for me. I will be the person to put the scores with criteria that I have. Thank you. I don't know whether I've answered that person.
Okay, Robert, you have another question here on Telegram. How easy have you found connectivity and access to devices for the students? How easy have you found connectivity and access to devices for the students?
Actually, I'm going to say it isn't just easy, but I feel I've tried to find a solution to that by making it in such a way that they don't answer immediately. They don't answer synchronously always. There are moments, and more often I give them and they do it asynchronously, because when they do it asynchronously, they have the opportunity to do it whenever their connectivity is the best. So you give them time, you set the test, you give them time to be able to submit, so they can do it not synchronously. So that's how I solve the issue of connectivity problems we generally have. But in case of connectivity, I don't think there is any great deal with that, with my learners, let me say so.
That's great, thank you.
Yes, it's like Virginia had another question.
Oh, no, that was it. So we gave you all the questions from Facebook.
Thank you so much, Robert. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I can see Mayamba wants to say something.
Yes, Mayamba.
Yes, thank you for giving me the floor. I am Patrick Mayamba. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Very well.
Yeah. I was saying this form is good. It is good, and I can also agree with Mr. Robert that the form is also used with your mail address. When you go within your mail address, you Google on Drive that it can be shown. But the main issue that we have in Africa with our fellow people is that when you use this way, as people have a problem with uh, tools to use for each, for example, computer, phones, tablet, and so on. Most of learners are not able to use this. If you want to use it, you have to make sure first that your learners are able to have a phone, a smartphone, I mean, a tablet or a computer. Otherwise, you have to inform first their parents to be aware about what you want to make. If you go directly without making them aware, it will be a huge problem and to be solved. You can grade your learners badly for nothing. That was my contribution for the first time. Thank you.
Very much, Mayamba. I just would like to say that in my community, when COVID-19 started, the Ministry of Secondary Education instructed teachers to create WhatsApp group with their learners, and we've been using such groups. And in cases students do not own phones, they use the phones of their parents. That is how it works. And that is why I said I use it with the learners mostly asynchronously. So I give the assignments and they do it at home whenever they are with their parents, and they can collect their phones and work there. Also, some learners here do have their phones with them. It's true, it's not allowed in schools, but they have their phones and then they keep them at home, but they can always use them in their house. The other thing too, I would like to say is that whenever possible in Cameroon, we've got ICT computer laboratories in some secondary schools, and in my school specifically, we have one. So I also at times take my learners, if I want to work with them synchronously, to the computer laboratories of the school, which are connected to the internet, and they use the computers to work. Thank you.
Hello?
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Hello?
Thank you.
Yes, Serge.
Yeah, actually, Mr. Robert, congratulations for the presentation.
Thank you
It's
very much.
yeah, it's something very interesting. You remember we had the how will I put it, the conference, so that's actually good. But I have a problem with this presentation. Not actually that the presentation is bad, because as the previous intervene was saying, you know, we have remote schools. I don't know whether you are getting me. Hello?
Very well.
Yeah, actually.
Yes.
I'm saying that we have a remote school, and you were talking about the decision of Minister of Secondary School Education giving computers, opening computer centers in many schools. But the problem with those computer centers is that most often, some of them have no connection, internet connection. And then with that situation, it's difficult for that to be implemented. And some, especially because I know that what you're saying is actually you can implement it very well in urban areas, especially in Yaoundé where you are teaching, maybe in Bafoussam, most of those places whatsoever, especially in towns. Where you go to remote areas, it becomes very challenging. Because even some students, they are poor, and at times it's difficult to send them to school. So actually, the problem is not at our level; it's about our policy makers. Because if we could do it in such a way that each school is able to have an internet connection and whatever, or students having those phones, Android phones or smartphone, it will be more interesting. Whatsoever the case for you.
Thank you very much, Serge. I just want to recognize the fact that in our communities, especially in rural areas, you might not have all the opportunities, but I also do want to call on the attention of all the teachers that it's always possible to use what you have at your disposal. If it's at all you have students with phones or computer laboratories in your school, why not make use of them to be able to change your style of teaching with your learners, change the style of evaluating them. I also do want to say, even in some of those remote areas that we call remote areas, when you get there, the types of phones that you see with some people, even in urban areas, you don't find those phones there. Some people work and they prefer to buy a big phone. I mean, let me just put big in quote, than to do other things. Like I've seen parents in some communities, instead of buying books for their children, they prefer to sit in bars and they can spend, huge amounts of money there, but they will tell you they don't have money to buy books for their learners. So it's always good. We just encouraging everyone, encouraging the parents, encouraging the learners to be able to use these tools. Thank you.
No, I totally
I am so sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry to interrupt, but unfortunately, we're going to have to cut the questions here because we only have a couple minutes before our next presentation begins. But thank you again to Robert, because this is clearly a very interesting topic and excellent information for everyone who is here. A lot of great comments about how useful they found this. And I appreciate the very practical explanation of how to use Google Forms and what the benefits are. So thank you all again. And we only have about 2 minutes before the next presentation begins. So take a quick break if you need one, but we will be back very soon right here.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.